Hi, I'm Stephen K, and I'm a fan of movies, and 2014 was full of them. Superheroes, giant monsters, transforming robots, epic battles, and dramatic uprisings. We discovered our inner potential, we explored the stars, and we succumbed to terrorist demands. It was a year full of films in differing styles and genres, each with their own merits, their own unique characteristics. Movies incapable of being separated by hierarchy. Today, we celebrate that by ranking them on a list. So friends, sit back for the next few, grab some popcorn, remove any crying babies from the theater, and set your cell phone to off and or silent, as I, Stephen K, present Stephen K's Top 10 Movies of 2014.
It's in a word or it's in a look, you can't get rid of the Babadook.
Chances are you may not have heard of this movie, however, do yourself a favor and check it out. Made with the lowest of budgets in Australia by a first-time director, The Babadook is a creepy, chilling, unnerving little film that will give you nightmares. It definitely subscribes to the less is more approach of scaring the shit out of you, and it does so very effectively. It played in a very limited release, so you'll probably have to check this one out at home. But when you do, make sure you watch it with the lights off. It's a scary good time. Go away.
It's out of the question. I won't allow it.
I'm not asking you to allow it, Gandalf.
Yes, we know. They took a single book and expanded it into 3 very long movies, but it was still entertaining. The conclusion of the Hobbit trilogy ended on a high note. The Battle of the Five Armies itself makes for one of the most beautifully crafted epic action scenes ever put on film, or high frame rate digital 3D for that matter. The Hobbit films may not have been up to the ridiculously high standards set by the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but it was still a rousing spectacle with characters you cared about, exhilarating action, and a beautiful landscape. I'll miss Middle-earth, and I'll miss you most of all, Twigarm.
I get to touch people's lives with what I do. And it keeps me going, and I love it.
Director Jon Favreau decided to step away from super-duper big-budget movies like Cowboys and Aliens and the Iron Man films to make this lovely ode to not selling out. Boasting a solid cast led by writer-director Favreau himself, Chef is a feel-good movie that will encourage you to follow those dreams you may have forgotten about. And if it doesn't do that, it'll at least make you very, very, very hungry along the way. I didn't know food could look this good, or taste this good, oh my god! Let's move on to number 7, because I'm gonna wreck this sandwich. In 2011, Rise of the Planet of the Apes was a glorious surprise. Everyone expected it to be crap, and it turned out fantastic. Fast forward to 2014, where Dawn of the Planet of the Apes comes out, a sequel to a prequel reboot. And we all know how well those have turned out before. Amazingly, Dawn not only lives up to Rise, but it surpasses it. Andy Serkis is phenomenal as being the go-to guy for all things motion capture, and underneath all those effects is an emotional story. It showed that Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, as well as Rise, are the best examples of how to take this familiar story and make it fresh. The only examples.
That's what I'm talking about. You're Birdman.
Birdman is the story of a has-been actor best known for starring in a popular superhero franchise who is trying to revitalize his career. This film is actually pretty damn cool. In addition to the stellar performances across the board and the relatable struggles of searching for one's meaning and relevance in the world, this film excels on a technical level. It's designed to appear as if the entire movie is one continuous shot, with no visible cuts or edits. All the more impressive that the movie takes place over the course of a couple weeks. This is a great flick with bizarre and funny characters, and as for that has-been actor, all I gotta say is, welcome back, Michael Keaton. Welcome back. Coming off the Avengers in 2012, Marvel Studios began Phase 2 of their cinematic universe. And their first two entries were, fine, I guess. But it wasn't until this year with Captain America: The Winter Soldier that they really stepped up their game, with a plot twist that will affect the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. They gave Captain America a film that feels more like a sleek spy thriller than just another generic superhero movie. All this from the Russo brothers, Joe and Anthony, who prior to The Winter Soldier were best known for directing TV sitcoms such as Arrested Development and, of course,
Troy and Abed in the morning.
It goes to show that Marvel Studios isn't afraid to take risks. Oh, speaking of...
What are you doing?
Dance off, bro. Me and you.
Here is a movie that, by all accounts, could have been terrible. It was a lesser-known comic book franchise that revolved around space mercenaries that included a talking raccoon and a giant tree. And not only did it work really well, it made more money this year than a couple other well-established Marvel properties. It's funny, it's beautiful, it's got a badass soundtrack. It also opens up the Marvel Cinematic Universe to an absolutely endless number of possibilities. And although this film certainly stands on its own, it also paves the way for some exciting Marvel prospects. Infinity Gauntlet! Awesome.
Amen.
What about?
Director Richard Linklater, better known for films like Dazed and Confused and School of Rock, did the unthinkable. He locked down a cast from 2002 to 2014 to create the story of our hero, Mason, growing up from age 6 to age 18. And you see him grow up, along with his family, right before your very eyes. It's very touching, and it all feels very organic. Although the film is close to 3 hours long, I never found myself checking my watch. It's probably because Linklater and his cast create such intriguing, likable characters. By the end, you may feel as though you've relived your childhood. It makes me reflect on my childhood. What would I say to my 6-year-old self if he were here?
Hi, I'm Stephen K.
Well, hi, 6-year-old me. What have you been up to?
I just saw the Ninja Turtles movie.
Ah yes, the classic 1990 Ninja Turtles movie. You know they made a brand new live-action Ninja Turtles movie this year.
Oh my gosh, was it amazing?
Actually, it's best if we don't talk about it.
Everyone thinks Enigma is unbreakable.
Good. Let me try, and we'll know for sure, won't we?
During World War II, Alan Turing was tasked by the British military to lead a team to crack an unbreakable code, the Enigma machine used by the Nazis to send coded messages. Benedict Cumberbatch plays Turing perfectly as a tortured genius who also harbors his own deep secret, one that could, and did, have negative consequences. The Imitation Game is truly a masterpiece. The performances are superb, the story is exciting and moving, and it offers great insight to an important piece of history that some may not know about. Not just how the Germans were defeated in World War II, but how that also led to the creation of the computer. You know, the one that you're probably watching this video on right now. Alright, here we are. This is it, folks. The moment you have all been waiting for. Without further ado, I, Stephen K., present to you my selection for the
Number 1 movie of 2014.
Hello, I'm Emmett. I'm just gonna come right out. I have no idea what's going on at all.
Okay, before you press stop, hear me out. My choice for the number 1 movie of the year was made based on several factors. The Lego Movie stepped beyond the potential product placement cash grab that it easily could have been. It brought us an entertaining, often hilarious story with a surprisingly touching ending. It may have been easily forgotten by some since it came out so early in the year. And while it is hard to fairly compare it to any of the other movies on this list, this one stands out the most to me. Really, it's because it exceeded my expectations in a way that I couldn't have imagined. I loved Legos as a kid, so there's that aspect, but it isn't just a nostalgia trip. The Lego Movie represented to me this year why I love going to the movies. It's not just for an escape or just for entertainment, but to have that sense of wonder, to be genuinely surprised. To go in, perhaps expecting some simple fun, only to discover something much richer and much deeper than it might have been. And in that regard, the Lego Movie surprised the hell out of me. Enough for me to name it my #1 movie of the year. And there it is, my top 10 movies of 2014. How does it compare with your list? Be sure to comment below with your top 10 movies of the year. Well, that about wraps it up. Thanks for watching. Have a happy new year. May your 2015 be filled with velociraptors, X-Wings, and of course, hoverboards. Until next time, I'm Stephen K. Goodbye.